Hello and welcome back to Curiosity Chronicles. Today we're going to talk about the Canadian election. I am Canadian. I live in Canada. I live in Ontario, or as some people call it, worst case Ontario. If you know where that is from, let me know in the comments. That's a very Canadian thing to know about. So now that I've had a week to kind of sit with it, we've seen sort of things that have been coming up. I think I have a better grasp of my thoughts on this, which is quite miraculous because this stuff changes every hour. People think, oh, give it a week. No, give it an hour and something new will come up. So when I don't know how people are staying on top of this, it is a full-time job. If you're a YouTuber and you're trying to stay on top of things, I don't know how you're sleeping. Because if you're editing your videos and planning them and blah, 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 yeah, it's a little cray. It's a little cray. So number one, Pierre Poilievre not stepping down. Okay, yes, he lost his riding. And I know there's a lot of uneducated conservatives who are like, how did he lose his riding? He lost his riding because he used to have Carleton. So there was Carleton. And then they added on Canada. Canada is a liberal stronghold. So all those liberal voters in that riding, they put the two ridings, the two area towns, cities basically together. So what was once a very, very blue riding became a red riding. So that's how that happened. It had nothing to do with the people that have voted for him for the last 20 years. Someone who's held a riding for 20 years, there's no reason that he should have lost that riding if the riding boundary hadn't changed. If it had stayed the same, he would have won it. Interesting fact, that riding change took place in 2023. About a year after he became leader of the Conservative Party. So you can take that for whatever you want. I think we can all agree that the doomer boomers crushed the country. So we're talking about the boomers, not all boomers, okay? Not all boomers. The doomer boomers. The ones who will tell you that they're educated because they got a degree 40, 50 years ago. Maybe even longer ago. What they didn't do was educate themselves on Mark Carney, even though they were all elbows up, a call to violence right out of the gate. A call to violence. Shady, underhanded violence was their mantra that they chanted. Like, really? Okay. So they'll tell you how I've had these people say, shame on you, you're disgusting for even talking about this. Really? What did you think of Mark Carney's book? And none of them are aware of that book. And I'm like, so how educated can you be when you don't know anything about the person you think is here to save the country? They don't know anything about the wake of destruction that he has left behind him every time he leaves the country. So yeah, educated. Yeah, just I think that they got their piece of paper that they put on the wall and decided they were never going to learn anything ever again. That was it. They're done. They don't need to learn anything ever again. Because they didn't bother learning anything about Mark Carney. That might have scared them a little bit. They didn't want to. They didn't want to. And fun fact, I have one of those certificates on the wall. It's framed, it's huge, and it says with honors. So yeah. Not all educated people are this dumb. Okay? But here's what I know. My education was in a very specific topic, much like anyone else's education. If you get a bachelor's or something, it's probably a very general, a bachelor of business, right? It's a general business degree. Mine was in a very specific field that my education is in. And there's no part of me that felt like, oh, just because I have a certificate on the wall with my name on it that says with honors, that I know everything in the world and I never need to research or learn anything ever again. So that's my little rant. And people say, it sounds like, I actually had somebody in my community say, it sounds like you hate educated people. I'm like, no, I hate dumb educated people. I hate people who claim their education is everything they need and then they never need to listen to anybody ever again. That's what I don't like. So we know that these people, because they lack education on this topic, and they're so easily manipulated and weak-minded, they fell for the Donald Trump narrative. Mark Carney ran on Trump Derangement Syndrome. And these people, for whatever reason, are so scared of Donald Trump that they actually handed our country over to this globalist. In case you don't know anything about him, I've got lots of notes today, so buckle up, get a snack. You may want to pause, go to the washroom, and come back. Okay. Yesterday or the day before, Donald Trump was asked by a journalist, reporter, whatever title they're using these days, about the meeting that Mark Carney has with him today. This is Tuesday, 8 days after the election. Donald Trump said, I don't know why he's coming here. He called me, said he wants to make a deal. I don't know what he wants to talk about. The Doomer Boomers elected this man to put Trump in his place. They thought he would because he said he would, because he's an economist. Yeah. My son is into math and accounting, and he plans that to be his career. He's not going to put anybody in his place. I know that. The people who do the mathing aren't usually the ones who are going to put people in their place. Okay, maybe there's some out there, but this 110-pound economist is probably not going to put Daddy T in his place. I'm kind of hoping that this meeting ends the same way the Zelensky meeting ended back a couple months ago. So I think it's very clear to many of us that Canada is under siege from the inside, right? We don't know what Mark Carney is planning to do because he's so secretive and sneaky and he lies about everything. We know that. All of his lies are out there. No liberal, no doomer boomer liberal wanted to hear it. No, he's perfect. Yeah, you are the carbon he wants to reduce, because the moment the election was over, that he ran and won on Trump Derangement Syndrome, that went away, and now he's back to being the net zero guy. And he has said that he won't do business with any countries. I'll go back. I'm going to rewind that one. That Canada won't do business with any country that doesn't have net zero at the top of their priorities. I hope that J.D. Vance is there sitting on the couch in the White House while the reporters and everything there, because I want to hear J.D. Vance say something along the lines of, America, the United States, will not be doing business, protecting or supporting or subsidizing any country that censors its citizens. That would be a good one, because, he's all about free speech. And I know these lefties, these doomer boomers, these liberals, these uneducated, they will say to you, free speech is not people being allowed to say whatever they want, whenever they want. And it's like, I don't think you understand free speech. They also don't understand what democracy is either. They think democracy is the government being in complete control of them, so they never have to think of anything ever again. Anyway, so let's have a look at who Mark Carney actually is. He's a former banker. We know that. He is the ultimate globalist agent. And he parachuted, that was my word that I threw in there, into every major financial institution on earth to enforce control. And this is elite control. If you think that he's one of you, no, Pierre is. Pierre's just a Canadian boy, grew up in a regular neighborhood in the suburbs. His parents were teachers. He has a whole story that maybe you don't even know that makes him more human than most people I've ever met. And he didn't run on any of it. He didn't run on a sob story. He didn't run on anything other than policy. And things came out, as we learned along the way. His daughter is nonverbal. So that was very relatable for a lot of families. So, whereas Mark Carney is a billionaire, his friends are billionaires. His friends are people like Jeffrey Epstein, as we can see from the photos. I mean, I don't, when he says, I've never met the man, you're in a photo with these people. Like, how do we deny the photo? But the lefties will still say, no, 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 no. They would just happen to be in the same room at the same time. Yeah. I can't stand here and say I don't know bikers if I'm standing in the middle of a pack of them. Do you know what I'm saying? I do know bikers. There's a whole bunch of them in my area. So anyway, all right, let's have a little look. From 2008 to 2013, Mark Carney was the governor of the Bank of Canada. He bailed out banks, he crushed savers, and he sold off Canadian gold reserves. From 2013 to 2020, he was the governor of the Bank of England, and he enforced ESG mandates and green finance scams. My opinion only, allegedly, entertainment purposes only. I'm going to be censored at some point, I'm sure, by him. If you don't know what ESG is, ESG, Google it, educate yourself, okay? We've all had to do that. I've given you the seed. Go check it out, okay? And if you're good with it, then maybe you're at the wrong rally. Okay, if you're not good with it, then stick around. He was the UN Special Envoy on Climate Finance. What the hell is climate finance? Honestly. Author of the scheme to channel trillions into globalist-controlled green funds. He is a darling of the World Economic Forum. He sat shoulder to shoulder with Klaus Schwab, architect of the Great Reset, who just resigned last week? A week ago, 10 days ago, something like that. And he's now being investigated for some pretty shady things. Isn't it interesting how many shady people are around Mark Carney? Isn't that interesting? Epstein, Ghislaine, Maxwell, Klaus Schwab, Mike Myers, who just got named in the Diddy trial coming up. Yeah, Mike Myers, elbows up, elbows up. Yeah, more like bottoms up at this point. And he was a board member of the Bank for International Settlements, and this is called the BIS. Yes, I have done my research because that's what a good conservative does. The Central Bank of Central Banks, a shadowy, unelected power center that dictates monetary policy worldwide. Yeah. His loyalty has never been to Canada, and anybody with a brain should be asking, why did this billionaire who's been in charge of everything give all of that up to come and make $400,000 a year, or maybe $406,000 a year if we're going to be obtuse, and to run Canada? He's doing that to run Canada into the ground. Yeah. So the classic Trump Derangement Syndrome playbook was his campaign. He had no original policies of his own. He just plagiarized Pierre Poilievre's policies and the conservative policies. We know that because it also came out that he plagiarized his thesis. Every word he was saying came out as a lie. Even something as stupid as a song. He played a song at his rally, one of his rallies, and he said, this is the song I used to warm up to when I played junior hockey. So anybody who knows about hockey would know exactly what age you are when you play that level of hockey. That song hadn't come out when he was the age that he would have been when he played that level of hockey. Why would he lie about that? Like, why? What is the point of lying about a song? I'm trying not to swear. That's what I'm doing here. If you see me getting like, it's because I'm trying not to swear. Yeah, I'm trying to be a good girl on YouTube. Okay, so he said things like, I'm here to protect democracy. His work over his lifetime is anything but democracy. If you read his book called Values, you can buy it on Amazon. Maybe get it from the library. Don't waste your money on it. Get it from the library. And as Jordan Peterson said, read the first 3 chapters and read the last 3 chapters. The rest of it is just fluff in the middle that he needed to put in there to bulk it up to make it a book and not a pamphlet. Okay? So there you go. He ran on things like, we must resist right-wing extremism. These people, these doomer boomers, these lefties that are like all into communism and Marxism and socialism, they think that like growing your own food and having children is a right-wing extremist activity. That actually like wanting traditional family values, wanting autonomy, not wanting to be dependent on the government, you're a right-wing extremist. Yeah. And he told people that their future was at risk if we don't stop Pierre Poilievre, and people believed him. You know whose future is at risk? Everyone. Everyone in this country, especially our young people. Especially our young people. So, yeah. We're going to, you know what? Let's keep going on this, because I got a lot of notes on this one. So, the moment he won, all of that vanished. All of the Trump stuff vanished. Trump doesn't even know why he's coming. Really. So he pivoted immediately to climate mandates right away. If I voted for him, if I was so stupid that I voted for this man or voted for one of his MPs to get him into the House, I might have some regrets right now, but I might not be smart enough to know I should have some regrets. That's the problem that we're dealing with. He announced plans to enforce carbon reduction. As I said, we are the carbon he wants to reduce. He actually wants to displace Canadians. That's the plan. And my opinion, but when you really think about it, one of his top advisors right now is a guy with the Century Initiative. That's his thing, to get 100 million people living in Canada. Our population currently is 41 million. We don't have room to put 41 million people as it is. We need to get rid of some people. And I don't mean we need to eliminate people. It's just that there's people who are here that shouldn't be here, and they just need to go home to their families where they're safe and comfortable and know the life and the language and everything else. I have nothing against immigration. I am an immigrant, so I speak from a place of knowledge on this. I have no problem with immigration, but when you come here and you can't survive here, this is not the place for you. You need to go back to your family and your village and your home or your country, whatever. I'm trying to not say go back where you came from, but you know, go back and then get yourself into a position where you could survive here, if that's the case. Because, you know, 45 people living in a 2-bedroom townhouse because that's all they can afford. That's not ideal. I don't think that's the life that anybody coming here signed up for, and we're seeing it in certain parts of the country. So, yeah, I don't know how we're going to reduce carbon while we at the same time bring 60 million immigrants to Canada to basically eliminate Canadians. There will be no such thing as a Canadian. People go, oh, well, if you're here, you're Canadian. No, you're not. Just because you arrived here it doesn't, if I land in Italy, I don't get to call myself Italian. If I land in Australia, I don't get to call myself Australian. They'd laugh in my face. Canada is the only country in the world where people are so stupid that they're like, oh no, if you're here, you're Canadian. Burn our Canadian flag in the streets, by all means. But yeah, you're Canadian. No, these people are not coming here because they want to be Canadian. Okay? They're actually being brought here to be slaves. And we know that because you go to any coffee place, you go to the fast food places, anything like that, Canada's national coffee place, you know, you see it. Those people, those businesses are being subsidized by the federal government, so they don't actually have to pay those people a full wage. They get subsidized. Fun fact. So yeah. Yeah. He ramped up ESG enforcement on Canadian businesses, so good luck with that. And we're already talking about digital currency and personal carbon footprint tracking, which would be total surveillance. Yeah. So all these people who are like, oh no, the app makes it so easy. I just pay for everything through the app. Well, what happens when the government's decided you've eaten enough meat this month and you can't buy groceries anymore? Because I've seen it happen in other countries. This is the thing. Educate yourself. Educate yourself in what's going on in other countries where they're doing this. All right. Very ranty today. Very ranty. Very ranty. So basically it was a con job and y'all got conned. That's the hilarious part, is y'all got conned, not us. If you're here if you're still listening to this, I know you did not get conned, because I know anybody who got conned is like, no, la, 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 right? We know, we saw it the entire time. All year we've seen this. God. Okay. So he used the fear of Trump, the fear of populism. If you don't know what that is, Google it. And change. And that's what got voters thing. And then he dropped the mask just like a good narcissist does, drop the mask, and then he's back to the green dystopia World Economic Forum plan. So there you have it. So while they were cheering, we stopped Pierre Poilievre, they installed a banker for the World Economic Forum. So yeah. Pierre, let's talk about Pierre. A week ago, I put a video up on one of my other channels basically saying someone is going to retire to spend more time with his family, and that's going to open up a by-election for Pierre. That happened faster than I could film the video. Literally within hours of me filming and posting that video on my other channel last week, that's exactly what happened. A young man, I would say a young man, he's younger than me, a wonderful MP out in Alberta, which is where Pierre is from, contacted Pierre and said, I'm going to step aside so we can trigger a by-election. His riding is probably I think it's the third most conservative riding in the country, this particular riding. He wins with 82% of the vote consistently. So there you have it. And when I say 82%, around 82%, okay? Don't come back at me with your narcissist numbers, okay? 82%. So that's opened up. Pierre has accepted that, and he's moved his family back to Alberta. They were probably all prepared to move anyway, because with an election, you have no idea. He and his family had been living at Stornoway in Ottawa, which is the official residence of the leader of the official opposition. And now that he is still the leader, but doesn't have a seat, he's got to do this to get back in the House. Okay. Mark Carney has said he will not delay this process because it is entirely up to him when that by-election takes place, but he said he won't, and he has to, because if he delays it and he drags it out, which he could until next year, he could potentially put this into the winter, and it's hard to campaign in the winter, trust me. We just campaigned through March and April, and it was hard. There were days that were brutal with the weather and everything else. So we're kind of looking at June right now. If Mark Carney were to delay this, he looks weak. He looks like he's scared of Pierre, and he won't want to look like that. Yeah. Yeah. So that's where we're at with Pierre. So thank you to the MP who did that, who stepped aside. He is a full-time farmer. He runs his own farm. He'll be fine. This isn't his only gig. He just did a really fantastic job of being the voice of people in his community in Ottawa. So there we go. There we go. So yeah, Pierre's riding was changed. The only people who benefit from that was the Liberals, and yeah, there we go. There we go. So Danielle Smith, I got a lot here. I got a lot. Oh, and people are saying, why won't Pierre step down? Why should he? He got more seats. He grew the party. He engaged more voters. The party wants him to stay on as leader. People say, oh, well, he didn't win. He needs to be removed. Really? You ever have a day at work where things don't go your way? Should you be fired? Think about that. If you're somebody who's saying that he should step down or he should be ousted or removed or whatever, simply because Canadians are so dumb, you should probably quit your job if you make a mistake. Basically that's what you're saying. Were mistakes made during the campaign? Yes. Do I blame the campaign manager? A lot. She's not a popular woman. People within the campaigns don't like her. They don't think she's doing a good job, and she's cost the Conservatives how many elections now? So she needs to be replaced. Okay, I'm not going to say her name because she's a private citizen. But yeah, there we go. It's interesting that last week I said in my video that maybe Pierre would go back to Alberta, and that's exactly what happened. So there we have it. Danielle Smith, let's talk about her. This woman is not kidding. She is no fool, and she doesn't suffer them. She's a very smart woman. I saw her press conference yesterday. She is navigating this Like, she's literally presenting a master class in leadership. We should all approach. If you have daughters, tell them to watch Danielle. She's incredible. I get very emotional when I talk about her, because I think she is just one of the most phenomenal people we have in our country right now. And she will teach your children a lot. Tell them to study her, because although she recognizes that within her country, or within her province, there is a separatist movement, she also understands that she represents everybody, and she has to lead everybody in the province. So she can't just be, oh yeah, we're going to separate. No, she's got to listen to the people. So what she said yesterday is that in 2026, I believe, that's when we have our municipal elections and things like that, but there might be an election of some kind in Alberta that year. And she said that would be potentially a question on the ballot. So the whole province would get to vote on separating or staying within Canada. Or I guess they'd always be within Canada, but staying under the Canadian Confederation. So that I think is true leadership right there, where she's not falling for the hysteria. She's not falling for the demands. She's saying, I know. And she laid out the types of people in Alberta and how she has to represent all of them. It was 18 minutes of pure gold that I listened to her speech yesterday. So there you have that. The Bloc is doing exactly what the Bloc is meant to do. So what they will do is they will suck as much as they can out of the Liberal government while they can. And you'll probably see a lot more money going to Quebec. And he did say, the leader, Yves Blanchette, did say that he would work with the government. That is the diplomatic thing to say. Every party leader should be saying something along the lines of, our goal is to work together. Because if you say anything other than that, you just look like a jerk, right? So he said, we'll work with the government. So have lots of other, Mo in Saskatchewan said, we will work with the government. Like that is the whole point. And that's the commitment to work with the government until the government will no longer work with you. Do you see how that goes? So he's not being a traitor. He's just saying the thing he has to say, which is we will work together. We don't know what that looks like right now, but I expect that Quebec separation will be back again as a referendum in the next couple of years, once the Bloc realizes they can't get anything else out of Canada, any more money out of Canada. So yeah, I feel like at this point, we're here just to witness. We've done everything we can, and now we have to witness what unfolds next. A lot will depend on this meeting with Donald Trump today. But here's things that I predict will happen if Mark Carney gets his way. Okay, so the Canadian sovereignty will be weakened. There'll be no such thing as a Canadian. Global institutions, they will have control over Canada. Financial independence for Canada, that financial sovereignty that Pierre was talking about, not happening. We're going to be so dependent. It's not funny. Already companies are being bought up by America. Like yesterday, Sunoco, I believe, bought up a big, huge oil company or something. I don't have all the details. I just kept seeing it across my feed. There'll be digital surveillance systems. Expect the cameras to go up. Expect much more stuff to have to be done electronically through apps on your phone and things like that. If that isn't ableist and ageist, I don't know. And there'll be a lot more chaos and division. And what will come from that is Canadians, these dumb Canadians, are going to be begging for more government authoritarian control over them. There's many of them who don't want to have to make a decision for themselves. They just want daddy government to take care of it. Those are the same people who will say things like down with the patriarchy and eat the rich. Okay, well, if you eat the rich, then there's no money coming to you. So sit down, okay? Just take a seat. Not you, not you. You're still here? If you are still here, we are on the same page. I know that. So I know people would be like, oh, this is just speculation. You're just making stuff up. No, that's exactly what Carney did in the UK. Go listen to Liz Truss speak about him. It's what he did through the UN. It's what he did through the BIS, because when a nation is in debt, disarmed, divided, and distracted, it falls into foreign hands without a fight. Hello, China. So I'm sure at some point this video is going to be flagged by the Canadian government. YouTube might not push it out. I don't know, but I advise you to find your favorite Canadian content creators and broadcasters and people who are speaking about this, and make sure you know how to stay in contact with them if they lose their channels. So I'm talking about like Elevate, Jasmine Lane, Northern Perspective, people like that. You definitely, Dan Freeman is another one. He's a favorite of mine, actually. I listen to him every morning and he cracks me up. I love his sense of humor. I don't think he's intentionally being funny, but every time I'm like, whoa, that was a good one. That was a good one. That's the one. That's who Kate brought the phrase doomer boomer to me. Yeah, doomer boomer. And okay, so here's the predictions. Mandatory digital ID, personal carbon footprint trackers, carbon taxes through the roof, and that'll be on food, fuel, and housing, the things every single person in this country needs. This won't be on luxuries. This will be on the things you need every day. And increased censorship. That number one. He called it electronic pollution. Yeah, gave it a fancy word so all the climate people will go, right? The clapping seals, electronic pollution. That is, I'll break that down for you. I'll give you exactly what that is. Things that don't agree with what he says. If you don't agree with what he says or what he does or what he wants or his ideologies, you are electronic pollution. Okay? The property confiscation under climate or ESG violations. We could be looking at a ban on natural gas. He wants everything electric. No LNG, no gas, no oil, nothing. He's already said Bill C-69. He's keeping it. I don't know why he's going to build a pipeline across Canada that he seems to have promised some Canadians, but then has also told other Canadians no. No. Do you see where the lies are? Yeah. Forced buyback of farmland to hand to globalist controlled corporations. That could be coming. The erosion of Canadian borders under climate refugee policies. Yeah, it may get very, very blurry here. Bank account freezes. By the way, back in 2022, when the trucker convoy was in Ottawa, remember when all the bank accounts were frozen? And the government said, that wasn't us. And the bank said, well, yeah, we didn't. It wasn't us. And the police were like, not us. That was Mark Carney. That was Mark Carney who gave that order to freeze the bank accounts, by the way. So y'all must be very proud of yourself if you hated the trucker convoys. I never in my life thought that being a freedom fighter would make me so hated in my own community, but here we are. I'm also well loved in my own community by people with the same values as me, and the people who also research and learn and don't just be like, tell me everything, right? Got a lot of amazing, especially women, some beautiful, wonderful women around me, older women. They're not my age. They're my parents' age. And they are boomers for Pierre. So there we have it. And then, of course, we will be in full compliance with the World Economic Forum. So there we have it. The hour is late, but knowledge is power. And your silence is just basically compliance. So we are at the point in our history where if you do not speak up, you're going along with it. Something I learned many, many years ago is that Satanists have to tell you what they're up to. And if you don't say anything and you don't do anything to stop them, they receive that as permission. and compliance. And then they go ahead and do it. So if you don't stand up, speak up, they'll do whatever they want. They will. And I'm going to leave you with that. You can make the dots are kind of overlapping, but you can figure it out. I'm sure. I know you are very smart. I know you are. So what can you do? Share the video, organize locally, and network offline with like-minded people. Prep, stockpile a bit with things that you think you might not be able to afford later. Orange juice. You know, everybody gave up orange juice, really, because the scurvy is not going to be a problem later on. Exit the systems where you can. So grow your own food, learn skills. YouTube is free university. Learn lots of skills for survival. Learn how to build a fire, learn how to cook with fire, learn how to prep, learn how to protect yourself. They're coming for the guns, by the way. And get cash. If you can, buy gold. Buy what you can. Gold keeps going up in price. I'm not sure why, because that is not part of what I have been researching at the moment. I will find out for sure. But gold has, I would say, from 2022 to 2025, doubled in value. And I'm just going to leave that. That I know. That I do know. And so cash, gold, grow your own food, connect with your local like-minded farmers, and learn first aid, learn prepping, learn how to cook, learn how to make things, network with people around you. So maybe you're not a baker, but one of the people in your network can provide sourdough for everybody. But you've got another skill or product or something you can provide. Do you see what I'm saying? You got to grow the network. Do not surround yourself with people who are identical to you. You need a good mix of people who know how to build things, people who know how to fix things, people who know how to knit and sew and all of those kinds of things, grow food. So don't be like, okay, me and my 20 mechanic friends are going to form a bubble. No, you need a whole mix of people in there, all different skill sets, so that you as a tiny little community, you'll be fine. And then where you can, talk about Mark Carney. Expose him. Expose his lies. You could be a mailbox warrior. You could print up a sheet and print up, 100 copies, walk around your neighborhood, pop it in the mailboxes. Send that PDF to people have them do the same thing. Mailbox warriors are they are the bomb. They're the bomb. Mailbox warriors. And we saw that during the election. The people who actually went door to door and knocked on the door, that's the people who got the votes. So, if you want to help Pierre, join the party. Contact your local EDA so that you can attend their events. They do fundraisers, they do social events. We're members of our EDA, my family, we're all of us. And we go to their social things. It's so nice to be surrounded by like-minded people. And keep researching and keep educating yourself. Read everything you can. Listen to broadcasters, a variety of them, even the ones you don't agree with, because you'll learn a lot. Sun Tzu wrote The Art of War. Even my teenage son has read it. Know your enemy better than you know yourself is one of the things that he has taught. So that's Sun Tzu, not my son. He learned it and now he lives that. So yeah, it's it'll be interesting to see what happens with Trump. Part of me thinks that Trump is here to basically bring all of this to the surface and expose all the evil and all the corruption and everything else going on in the world. So that's why I feel that this, now that it's done, our job is to bear witness and watch this unfold for the next little while, which is what Danielle Smith, the Premier of Alberta, is doing. She's like, oh, we're just gonna see what happens first before we react. So there you have it. Let me know what you think. If you have hung out with me all along for 40 minutes, thank you. Thank you so much. I may break this video up into smaller chunks and put it out there as well. But definitely you're on the right track. If you think something is up, you're on the right track. Let me know in the comments. Don't forget to click subscribe, click like. That helps me grow the channel. If you feel this is valuable information, share it with your friends. And if you have anything to say, I would love to read it. Let me know in the comments. Thanks so much. Have a great day and stay curious.